What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Cousin Cecil Show. I'm your host, Mike Fowler, aka Cousin Cecil. How are you? How was your week? I know it's been a minute. Not even a real minute. It's been about like what it's been like every other week. Honestly, it's just more, I don't know. I can't blame anybody else. So, it is me. I mean, again, it goes into, I think, I'm in a spot of just like, I've been enjoying this new job. It's been a little bit longer of days than it was during like training time. So now I'm out on my own in the truck. So I think that's what's kind of throwing me off. And then honestly, my thing is more, right now, which should be normal for me, but like my days off right now are Sunday, Mondays. But I don't know, just a little here, there. I literally like, should I go downstairs and record an episode? I'm like, we can wait one more week and I'll do all that shit. But yeah, what to talk about? I'm going to do probably more a little bit nice and slow, more of a touch up of like just a lot of things. We'll start off like usual, what I've been playing, and I think that also involves into my time of like coming down to record, because I really have not played anything besides within these past 2 weeks. I've only got maybe 2 days, and when I say 2 days, so it's been like only a couple hours. I got Elden Ring, and in that same situation I kind of talked about, the boy wanted it, and I just said fuck it, in the sense of like, if he's going to get it, let's get it digitally so that I have access to it as well. So, Elden Ring, a little small game. I don't know how much reviews it's got, but no, I know it's a fucking, apparently a 10 out of 10 game. My first initial thoughts are, it's okay. It is, it's interesting in the sense of, I have no real background with Souls-like games, more than maybe not even a couple, like the first level world of Demon Souls and Demon Souls Remake. I've maybe walked down the alleyway of like Bloodborne, never touched Sekiro, never touched any of the Dark Souls games, and my first initial thoughts are, it's fun. It is definitely, I think it is a double-edged sword of, this is probably the best, because of this is also their first open world-esque Souls game, whereas in like it's more open up that idea. So Elden Ring is starts off that typical Souls way of like, yeah, you wake up, you were dead, and you come back, and let's walk you down this little path, and then kind of use very tight corridor shit, and then you kind of open up the thing. And even when I say that, like, everything always ends up with, here's a boss that you can't beat, and it's going to start a cutscene, and then the real game starts. This one does the same shit, and you go in, and you open this, then after you die, you leave this catacomb, and you open this thing up, and then the whole world is open. Anywhere you like to go. There's no level cap in the sense of like, it doesn't tell you to go, you're already pointing north. So it's like, it doesn't go like, oh yeah, keep going north and you'll find something, blah, blah, blah. You kind of can go on your own and you have your own adventures. I think that's what's been attracting people in the idea of this is like, in my opinion, what would be if Dark Souls and like a Elder Scrolls had a kid, where it's not about like verbal stories, but it's about the experiences and the journey you did to get to point A to point B, or even point A to point D, because obviously there's no straight up map or straight direction and like story hit notes that you have to hit to get down this progression. We'll get into some cons before pros, because the pros are small, but also it's like typical, like, yeah, it's cool, it's really enjoyable and shit. But some cons is when I said this is a good starting point for newcomers, it is, and also you should have a little bit of knowledge of how these soul games work. Not saying this one plays off like that, but the idea of like, okay, you have to go if you want to heal up and like want to gather more potion bottles because they recharge, you have to go find campfires in Souls games. This one is more, you have to look for these lost grace, little golden speckles that are in the ground. And you can go rest. You can also do all like level up. But the thing is that this one kind of has let you go. And like, I had to watch YouTube videos of just people like, okay, so those lost grace I just said. Apparently, because also that's the other shtick if you seen trailers for Elden Ring. Hey, look, you get to ride a horse and you get to kind of roam the plains and look really cool. You didn't know this, but you have to find 3 of those grace points before you can even get the access to the horse. And when I say that, it's not hard, but it's also like if they would have told you off the get-go what you're looking for, what are the clues to find these graces, you'd be like, oh, this ain't that bad. Because, like, you open up that catacomb, like I said, you see the big open world. You're like, oh, wow, that's beautiful. And you walk a couple steps and you see your first lost grace. I didn't even see it. I came back just walked around that area and found it later. Apparently, it was a lot more easier to see than I thought, but I digress. So that could be your step 1. There's your first grace. And then those graces create a little gold stream and kind of points like, hey, there'll be another one that direction. Hey, there'll be one this direction. If it does make 2 streams. It doesn't go all the way. So you get 3 of them, and then you get this cutscene that happens, and then the girl who opens up the access thing of like, oh, now you can, if you want, you can level up at these points, which is a normal thing in Souls games in the sense of you go use campfires and you can level up your character by the souls, or in this game, ruins you collect. But yeah, once you get the 3, and like you kind of also a lot of things that I think they should have done, but also at the same time, I get it's not like this is the people who this Elden Ring apparently has just been kind of a lightning in a bottle. Like, it's been overly bought. It's been selling really well. It's been, people have just been really liking it. So this one's one of those few times that it happens. But yeah, I wish there was a little bit more direction in the tutorial. Just a little. It could be also me, because it's just big old text blocks, but a lot of it isn't me in the sense of like, because people like talk, yeah, you just find 3 of those grace points, then you get the horse. It doesn't tell you that in the game. And then also, another con, honestly, is probably, I think that's it, because the only con about it is you have to go to like websites or YouTube to find out more direction in the game than or even the idea of like to get like a pep talk from a your favorite streamer or whatever to say, hey, that's what's the beauty about Elden Ring. If you let's say you went west and you found a big baddie that you just giving you such time, and you hear about those Dark Souls stories, like people say, yeah, I was sitting at this same boss for 5 hours. Woo, boy, it was fun, but also it was so aggravating. You don't have to do that with Elden Ring yet. Like, if you want, you could go through Elden Ring and like go, man, this boss is giving me such a hard time. I'm going to actually backtrack and see if I can get more like ruins and like level up going the opposite direction. I'll come back to it whenever I feel a little bit more comfortable in the game. But the pros is that is definitely a pro where you can approach the game any way you want. You can also, they have definitely listened to, I guess, feedback, those lost graces. And there are 2 actually checkpoints. There's a lost grace, which is the typical campfire, I'm going to keep calling it, where, okay, if you die, you end up there. Or there's also certain spots where there's this little statue of like a Greek statue-looking goddess thing. I think the statue of Marta. If that's there, you can also use that as a checkpoint to return. So, like, you can then basically get better at the Dark Souls dance of swords play, or even just the idea of combat in Souls games, which has definitely been the draw on people. People like I don't want to call it risk reward, but the idea that each attack has weight in the sense of like you have to strike when the time's right, and also like you have to worry about counters and all that stuff. People like that. So let's say you messed up, you're like, you don't have to. Apparently people were talking, I listened to other people's opinions on this game to give me a feel that I feel like I'm doing pretty good. In older games, the campfire could be, let's say, an hour, 30 minutes past, or like from that combat phase that you just happen to die at. In Elden Ring, there's a good chance the combat phase is like you could literally spawn out of like the area of like confrontation would be, and like you could at least enjoy, like, what I mean? There's not too much frustration that comes from this game, more than like, man, I just stink. It's not like, man, this guy's so buggy, now I have to do another hour to get back to this buggy guy and all that shit. So that's a good thing in that sense. Another thing that I've seen people is like, this game came out and there has been maybe, I think 2, maybe 3 patches, and the patches are not like, it's like, they're adding stuff. It's not like, we're fixing this big bug. Sorry for us to launch this with a big bug. It's not like, we got to put a patch in now, we're going to do microtransactions, which, again, I don't care if they did or not, because it's not my, there's also been like, even like speed runs already to show like people can beat it in 26 minutes, and then people have already said like, From Software doesn't even patch those out. They don't care in the sense of like, it doesn't break the game for the majority. Now, with that being said, like, could I recommend this to a newcomer, like I've been trying to kind of hint at? I would say yes. I would also say I couldn't even blame them if they get mad and like the tutorial, or maybe the idea of like the hands-free approach that From Software has done with this game, which I feel is the right thing to do. At the same time, I can understand why they don't like it. I think the art of discovery is really huge in this game. I feel it is definitely, which is a dumb way to say it because I always hate when people say this, but it definitely has that open world feeling, and like this definitely is probably the closest to like what people compare Breath of the Wild discovery of that open worldness to, compared to any other, like with like Horizon. Horizon is definitely not a game you're going to go look for discoveries of like, oh wow, I discovered this storyline. When you play Horizon, you're playing a very, very descriptive story game that is in the open world, and like there are some really good beelines and stuff where the Elden Ring goes under that more Breath of the Wild / Elder Scrolls style of like, hey, there's a cave in here. Let's go discover what the fuck's going on in there, and then get a reward. Compared to other open world games, this is definitely in that genre of it's kind of at your own whim of what you want to find out. But yeah, that's definitely been the only thing I've been kind of playing. I've also noticed I've only played one match, maybe 2 matches, I can't remember, of the new Fortnite season, which is it's under like Fortnite season 2 or chapter 2 season 3, I think, Resistance. They took away building. This season is not about building. It's about there's an overshield that you get, plus also the typical, you can get shield potions and all that shit. Mobility is not, there's no more Spider-Man slingers, but there's a sprint, there's a double jump, you can vault over, you can jump on buildings and like kind of pick yourself up and all that shit. It seemed interesting. I've just not had time. I've been also haven't been able to even jump on and play with anybody yet with Fortnite. And now Fortnite, I haven't been able to jump in and like do a little duo or squad with even like Chalfie or whatever. But yeah, I think that's about me on what I've been playing. And then we'll get into more of the bigger thing that happened the week I missed. There was a state of play for the Harry Potter, Wizarding World's Hogwarts Legacy game. And it was about like I think it was like 30 minutes, like 15 minutes of a very extended trailer showing you all the breakdown stuff, and then another 15 of like the team behind it showing concept arts and kind of describing themselves, or not themselves, but describing the game in their own point of view. And definitely we live in this day and age where we are in a culture of reactions, and also a culture of, we are not in a we are mad at a property more than, we're mad at the author, but I don't understand the idea like where the Wizarding World is should be canceled compared to like the author. So before we get into, I guess, what was shown and what was actually in the state of play, we should, I guess, talk about what was not in the state of play and why that's where I'm trying to get to, is like, so what was not in at all in it, there was no comments about like trans rights, and then like trying to oppose what J.K. Rowling thinks. This could have been a perfect moment for Warner Brothers / I think it was Avalanche is making it, to at least say, hey, we hear you, we see you, we're doing a Wizarding World, but also like, you know what, we are, we stand up for trans rights. And, I think I'm pretty sure I basically minimalized that whole conversation. There's probably a lot more to it than I'm trying to explain. But the idea that was not said, so that obviously some people's eyes, that is definitely like a strike one. Some people have been, just because of they're so hurt by her, which, hey, that's your life. That goes into a lot of things. So I, respectfully, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. You don't want to play a game because the franchise was made by a bigot in the sense of, that department. That is you. I also trying to also explain of like the idea of like, like I said, Avalanche could have said something. Warner Bros. Could technically said something. They could have at least explain, because that's the part I don't understand. It's the part of like where we have to learn how to separate the problem, which is the author, I guess, compared to the franchise, where like this Avalanche game and the Wizarding Hogwarts Legacy is like, it's not about Harry Potter. It's about Hogwarts. It's about I think 1800s wizards. So like 100 years before Harry came there and all that stuff. But the idea of, how do I word it? Like, I don't even know how to explain it more than the idea, because I don't want to talk minimalize a big issue, but also at the same time, like, you can't, like, you can be mad at JK, but you can't. I don't understand where Quidditch is the part that flip, where like I can't play anything that involves the word Quidditch or like butterbeer, the idea of like what is associated to what she created. Yet it's not my story in the sense of it's not my life. I just know that I'm an observant person in the sense of like I understand the idea that a lot of people liked Harry Potter. Shit, got tattoos and all that stuff. And then she started pulling that stuff, so it feels probably like a lot of people got the rug pulled from underneath them. So I understand that. I just at this moment in time, for how old Harry Potter books are. So now, fudge. I think the Deathly Hallows came out 16 years ago, maybe 15. And the idea of like, I'm just saying, I'm not trying to also like calm you down about it, but the idea of like, I still just don't grasp the idea of like, Harry Potter is what's stopping me from feeling better about like my choices in life. Now I understand JK, because also JK is very loud. She's very, obviously she made a lot of money. So like I don't know. I also don't know if she said anything prior and then she took it back. Of like, she was like, oh, I'm for it. Then now she has the money. She's like, oh, fuck you guys. You know what I mean? So that's a whole nother piece of the puzzle that I do not know about. And that's the parts where I understand where people might have conflicting concerns about it. And also they want to give Avalanche silence, in the sense of they want to say before the game comes out, we are not going to promote your Hogwarts Legacy because you had a moment of the spotlight and you did not say anything. That's been things I've seen and heard after the state of play. And that's stuff that was not shown during the state of play. So now we'll get into what was actually shown in the state of play. And what I saw of this game, and again, this game is definitely, this game could be called Cousin Cecil's Wizarding School, and I think it could be about the same connection at this moment without hearing any dialogue of storylines and stuff, because again, it is about the Wizarding School of Hogwarts in the late 17 or 1800s, and all that stuff. So, like, I don't think, if anything, maybe I'm pulling this out my ass. I do not know if this person is going to be there. Like, if anything, like Dumbledore could possibly be like a first year. You know what I mean? Like, that's how long ago this time frame is between this and like what would happen during the Sorcerer's Stone chronological order of Harry Potter going to school. So the idea like that. So what they presented on the State of Play, it looked excellent. It looked very much, it looked very cool. It looked very, I don't even know how to describe it more than like very detailed. It's the best adaptation of Hogwarts we've seen in a video game since obviously the last video game was, I think Deathly Hallows Part 2 for the PS3. It is kind of open world in the sense of Hogwarts is there, and you can obviously walk through there, the courtyards, the different sections, blah blah blah. And there's there's a village that lives outside the outskirts of Hogwarts. There's also the Forbidden Woods. There's also a lot of things in it, and then they showed, and it involves a storyline where you are like I might be making the year up, but I think you're a late bloomed wizard that's like in their 5th year, and now that's where they kind of did the video game storyline of like, that's why you're going to be in like you can do like the tutorial time is because you are rushing to get up to pace with your fellow 5th year kids since you are just enrolling into Hogwarts late. And seems like there's some dark wizards going on and afoot, and like the story seems interesting. I don't know how in depth the story is going to be by this approach, besides the idea that they just showed also like they showed how the wizarding combat is, where the wand, there are moves like you can do like a lasso, you can grab people, you can throw them, you can shoot little magic missiles and shit at them, and the combat looked good. It looked like to me, it looked a little over the shoulder like a Resident Evil remake shooter. Also, at the same time, it kind of looked like it could have went a little panned back and looked kind of like how the old Assassin's Creed was with the parry system, and you know what I mean? You can see a full circle of people around you, and you can kind of battle them like that. They definitely, when you enroll to Hogwarts, you get to choose your group. You can either be Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, or Slytherin, and each one has a different core dorm. You can also have different storylines where like you're like, I think they showed the Gryffindor friend, and I think they showed the Hufflepuff friend, and they can also have like a little bit different storylines going on, which is very cool. For I don't know how hard, or I guess how long it would be to do like multiple runs so you can see like the Slytherin story. I don't even know if they just do a remap of like, oh, the same girl who was your Gryffindor friend is now reskinned as a Slytherin person. You know what I'm saying? I do not know if that happens. It definitely it seems like, and how that happens, and then goes into the last 15 minutes or 10 minutes of the team kind of gushing out of how their love of the Harry Potter world. It definitely seems like it's a fan-made experience. It definitely has interesting, like, you can craft, you can hunt other animal, like the mystical creatures. There's a lot of different side jobs in this RPG, and it looked very promising. And I can't lie in the sense of like, it does look very well done, but like the social issues around it, I don't know if someone is going to lower the score. How do I word it? Let's say this game is an 8, but they are so soured by social problems and social cues that their 8, they actually talk it down more in their heart to a 7, only because of the social problem, which teach his own. That's how people do reviews. Sometimes that's how people feel about boring movies. So I'm not saying it just because of this, but so, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know yet. And me just being optimistic of the game, nothing about the situation of that is the baggage around it. The game looked promising. The game could be shit, but I'm just saying the game looks like it could be a really good, it looks like they've been definitely looking at other RPGs and like seeing some of the things they put in those new RPGs, like going to craft at this certain room of requirement and all that shit. And also, like, it is the State of Play also said this is going to come out this year. I don't think there's a confirmed date. I think they just said holiday. And also, while I was looking up stuff, apparently, like, that goes into the idea of, like, what I've seen. People have been very silent about this game ever since the State of Play because of the social things about it. And the thing from Polygon, again, I don't know what Polygon's background views are, but they even said on there, like, when this was announced back in September, during the PS5 reveal, yeah, that's what it was. They said J.K. Rowling is not even involved with this game. She's only involved with the idea that she named Hogwarts, and I'm just more saying, like, should Avalanche have said something? Yeah, in a way. Should they have also then maybe, I don't know, maybe during the character creators, I believe you can choose your boy or girl face. I think they could have also kind of stuck it to JK if she was really not involved. They could have put why didn't they just make the character creator be able to create, characters that could go either way and be more go into that spectrum of being able to say, yeah, I actually made a character, and I'm talking as a dumb guy. I don't know the correct term. But, like, yeah, I was able to create a wizard or witch. That's, I think the girl wizards are named there. Or female wizards. You know what I mean? I can say, oh, my character is a wizard, and they go by, they or them. It don't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't hurt the story, to my knowledge. Yeah, I'm just more saying the idea. Like, I understand where they should, and also at the same time, I don't know what is the behind closed door talkings at Warner Brothers, the people who are running the wizarding IP for JK, who probably don't believe what she says, I hope. But you know what I'm saying? I don't know what was said. So obviously, this was a very cookie cutter, we're all in this together, very nice State of Play. And it did, I ain't gonna lie, it made me want to get the game. So I think it did do a job. I understand the baggage. I understand all that, but I'm just saying, for a game that sounds interesting to be a RPG of you trying to be a fifth year wizard in a franchise that I understand since I read the books growing up, or they were read to me during 5th grade, at least the first 3 were, from my teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is a comfort, that world. I don't give a fuck what JK says. She can jump a bridge. You know what I mean? I'm just saying the idea that when I went to, even sounds dumb, but like when we went to Universal Studios, it was really cool to go down Dracon Alley, whatever the fuck the the Harry Potter world part of it was. It was really cool because it's a comfort thing now of like, oh yeah, I've read this, I understand what this is. The movies are okay, but yeah, that's one thing that was going on that I missed. And then I guess also there's more quick fire stuff because it's totally irrelevant until the game comes out because I don't care in the sense of like studio wise, what I'm going to say. But like apparently the AAA studio that Microsoft has created, the Foundation, has been definitely having some turmoil, and people have been leaving the company or the studio. So people are like, is Perfect Dark in trouble? I think it also goes into that it sounds like Perfect Dark is going to fall on the shoulders of Crystal Dynamics, who has been also stated that they are helping the Coalition. Is it the Coalition? Or is it, no, the Initiative? Coalition, I believe, is the Gears of War guys. I believe the Initiative is the studio I'm trying to talk about. So apparently there's been just some turmoil. There have been also some things that are stating like, I don't want to say toxic like Blizzard, but they said it's been very mismanaged with managerial wise of like people that are not in the studio, like higher ups than just Microsoft, have been stating shit that are, about like they're saying shit and other people are saying other shit, that stuff. So we'll see how that goes down the road. But just so keep in mind, I don't even think Perfect Dark even had a release date. So the idea of like it could be that game could come out in 3 years now instead of 2. Like it's been a long road apparently. I think this is also kind of cool. Supermassive Games has kind of announced their next game because they've also they're done with the Bandai Namco contract, so now they're working with 2K for this they're calling it the sequel to Until Dawn, even though it's called The Quarry. And I think it's very interesting, and I think this might backfire with them down the road. But they are off. I think they're saying 60. Either they're saying $60 or $70 because of the next gen versions for this Quarry game. And I think that is a very big chip to swallow when the past 3 games have been $30 each, even if they're short or not. You know what I'm saying? I think that's very. We'll see how that goes. I'm not sure. I think it comes out this summer. It has an all-star all-star. It does have a pretty interesting cast. And I think the one that's real spotlighted off this picture I see is like that Justice Smith, the guy, the kid from Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, and also the protagonist of Detective Pikachu. He's in it, so that's very interesting. And then I think more for a surprise is PlayStation has acquired that brand new studio from of Haven Studios, the one that forgot her name. I think it's Jade Raymond, the girl who left Ubisoft. She helped co-create Assassin's Creed, and she made the studio we've talked about. PlayStation acquired them. They just right off the get-go. They have not even made a game yet. They already just now they're a PlayStation first party now. So, hey, that's interesting. And then let me just double check what I want to actually talk about. Yeah, I think, and also I'm recording this right before this week, so maybe I'll make another recording in a couple days. But apparently this week is going to be a really big moment in PlayStation, where like they're going to announce the Spartacus PlayStation Plus new tier system this week. Apparently, there's 2 more rumors that Greg Miller has said. He didn't say what they were, but he said they heard 2 more there's 3 possible rumors this week, and he said they all get announced. Oh boy, they even delayed "P.S. I Love You" for this week until Thursday. Blah blah blah. So some things at least I did see. I'm not going to say prices, but I seen there were rumored PS Spartacus 3 tiers I believe, okay, let's say all 3 tiers get the free PS Plus games. Okay. The first tier gets online, you get to play online and get free games. So the standard one that we have right now. The middle tier one apparently might be you get access to PS Now, the free games online. And when I say PS Now, I believe, stick with me on what I say, I think it's only ones that you can download games. Because there's a rumored third tier that's roughly around $16 a month, maybe 17. I could be wrong. I didn't want to do prices, but so you understand the ballpark range that we're talking about. And that one, you get to stream. You get to you get everything from bottom tier, plus also you get demos and PlayStation Classics under that umbrella, apparently. The only part that I don't like when they say stream, because that's how people have been saying it, like, are you talking about you can stream games, maybe you don't have to download, or are you talking about do we lose access to streaming to Twitch because of this new tier? Because I think that would suck if someone has to pay the top price to stream to Twitch when we've been doing that for now a generation and a quarter for free. That part, I could be wrong. Again, I'm doing rumors and these are thoughts that are in my head. I don't have anything written down. But yeah, those were the rumored things that might happen this week. We'll see. And the other thing I kind of want to talk about is I got to watch the first episode of the Halo TV series on Paramount Plus. And the reason I'm saying it here is because I'm definitely I can't pick it as a hot pick for the Cousin Caesar show, but I will talk about it because it's a lot to unpack. I think it's promising, but also at the same time, it looked really rough. There's a rumored story out there saying like each episode was worth $10 million each to make, and when I watched that first episode, it felt like, what did you guys do with the other $9.5 million? The first episode apparently, okay, we'll take a step back. So obviously Paramount Plus has the Halo TV show that Microsoft and them worked out a deal with. And it's a Master Chief's in it. It is interesting because it kind of creates its own new timeline. The reason I say that is because if you played Halo, Master Chief has been, I think he was like in a hibernation before the first game. So he wasn't even around when this is happening. But the first episode starts off with, we apparently go to this planet that is full of like outcasts, insurgents, people who are against the USNC. I'm trying to remember those letters off the top of my head. And apparently I had to go online to see. But this planet is in the lore of Halo. This is something that we don't see in the game, so this is kind of cool to see. And this planet in the lore is the first planet that the Covenant kind of attack in this idea. So you get down there and it's very corny, it has like the Sci-Fi Channel's feel of like a TV series where they're talking and they're kind of not saying references about the game, but they're saying references of like, if I was seeing a Spartan and like they're talking like we were supposed to know about this planet or this world, excuse me. And like, it just felt a little corny at that. And then, these people are also like, they're dressed up. They look like they're like, how would I word it? Like Mad Max kind of cavemen, even though they're on a different planet. They're not on Earth. So like the idea of like, why are you guys looking like you're dressing up like you're wearing like a fox skin shoulder and you have war paint on, but you're not on the planet. It was just very confusing knowing like you see the USNC people and they were obviously dressed up like how like military is, like obviously more naval. So obviously nice clean clothes and no face paint. So I just thought that was kind of off for what we know about Halo. But then the Covenant hit. And the Covenant, they showed only only Covenant. There was no jackals, there was no grunts, there was no brutes yet. But these Covenant, they looked rough. Some of them looked real good, some of them just looked real rough. Some of them had their mouth looked like they had like their holes in their neck, like they smoked a pack of cigarettes every hour until they lost their mouth, their jaw. Some of them looked great, and then what was kind of caught me off guard, which is not saying a bad thing for this one, was like the shooting actually was violent. You saw bodies blowing up and all that shit when the Covenant started to fight. It was kind of crazy. And then we get their first moments of Spartans being dropped down to help after we just had 5 minutes of hearing that the USNC are dog shit and all that stuff from the insurgents. And they come down, and there was only and it just felt really weird. It just felt like it was like kind of CG, kind of not, kind of trying to mix it both. What is it? They even did this weird moment. They try to show us like the HUD of Master Chief's helmet, like is like in the video game. And it made me feel like we're watching like the old Doom movie for a quick second. There are moments, if I had to rate the first episode, I would say it was a promising 6 out of 10. If you understand what I'm trying to get to, of like, it was okay. It was, it had some weird moments. The ending kind of pivoted up towards the ascending spot. I'm not saying it was like, oh, that really changed this whole episode. But the idea of like, okay, I'm ready for next episode just to see what happens. I think they should have dropped more than one episode. I think they should have just started off with like how HBO Max does sometimes, where it's like a 3-episode premiere, just to get the blood rolling with this game or show, excuse me, because it was just. It seems like there's some weird baggage between the scientists that run the Spartans and like the actual heads of the USNC, which should have been maybe built up in the season compared to this. Like, I think it's weird that we're walking into mid baggage between them. I also don't understand why, they said, hey, we're going to put so much money in the CGI and we'll make some really good looking aliens, but we're going to make the alien, I forgot because I don't remember the Halo's names, but they have a girl on the Covenant side that is in the planet, not the planet, like the space carrier that has those the three older guys that are from Halo 3 that they were all sitting in the chair that kind of look like a E.T. like old extended family. But they have a girl there, a human. In my head, I'm thinking like this just must be a camera thing that like we're just gonna save some money by having a girl here and not pay and make CGI characters. But it was just I just didn't understand that in the sense of because it kind of takes a step back on the feelings of the Covenant, because I thought the Covenant's like we don't like any humankind period, but we're gonna have a girl in our midst working with us. It just didn't make no sense. That like it just felt like cheap. It just felt cheap right there. And then the ending, we got to see Master Chief's face, which I thought in the books, I thought John was black, but they made him white in the show for no irrelevant reason. If I'm right, but long story short, you see Master Chief already having trouble taking orders from like the AI system in his helmet that's told him like, oh, you brought a survivor from that planet, the lone survivor from that planet that got attacked by Covenant, and the USNC wanted her eliminated already. Sorry for spoilers in that sense, but I'm trying to like what I'm spoiling, knowing there's a whole season. I'm just telling you build up. There's nothing. I'm not telling you the answers of what's going to happen in the season. It's only one episode, so the idea of like it just felt very weird, and obviously. In this, Master Chief revolts and they fly away. They kind of take control of the ship and they fly away. And that's how the ending of the first episode. And that's where I'm like, okay, you're doing something really interesting. Just your timeline is all fucky. And so people have been calling this the silver timeline because this Master Chief is running the Spartan team, like the silver team. So I'm like, it just felt weird, and I just wanted to more say it because I noticed like we have a lot of podcasters that are very pro Xbox now because of Game Pass, or they just talk like this is the best thing since sliced bread, but no one's really talking about this shit show of Halo, or just call them out for the bullshit they did. But yeah, I think that'll be it for me for this. And then on that note, this week's hot picks is for TV. What's going to pick for TV is I'm a little late to it, but I'd been watching it and I'm up to date. I'm waiting for this Friday's either the next episode or the last episode of the Apple TV show Severance. And Severance, without me because that one is definitely a spoiler, and I don't want to spoil anything from that besides the plot of how I said that. It's kind of funny. It goes into this thriller of like, what if you had to separate your brain, work thoughts and outside world thoughts from each other, and you openly did it. It's not like the company took it away from you. You said, yes, I'll work here and I'll do it. Basically, like, you know, your outside body doesn't know exactly what you do for work. You could be killing people, and then your inside work body or brain doesn't technically know who you are. You could be a serial killer outside. And I just said shit that's not even involved in the show. So just so you understand, like, it's nothing down, it doesn't go down that crazy path. But the idea of is just a thriller that gives people who work a cubicle 9 to 5 a spotlight into this weird sci-fi idea of a story. And the reason why I gave it also a hot pick was Ben Stiller is producing, and he directed some of the episodes. I thought he directed them all, but then obviously the farther I went down the path, and he didn't direct them all. but the company that the Severance people work for and the office building gave me the video game Control vibes of the Foundation. Is it the Foundation or the Directory? Whatever the fuck. But Ben Stiller, if someone gave Ben Stiller the keys to the Control universe and said, hey, can you make a movie about Control? And Severance doesn't have floating powers, doesn't have a gun that changes, it doesn't have even monsters. But the idea that he made the atmosphere and feeling tight-quartered things of how, like that, it just felt like I was in some cubicle sections of Control watching Severance. And I just it's very well done. I actually am really enjoying this series. I'm glad. If you also wanted to see like more episodic reviews of it, go check out One Mike, Mike Networks on YouTube. He's been reviewing them, I believe, in a non-spoilery way. At least I know the first one was. And yeah, he can always go get a like and a follow from somebody. But yeah, and then for music, Lost and Found Freestyle 2019 with Tyler the Creator from A$AP Rocky. I picked, very slim pickings on this New Music Friday list of from me and for myself and for comics. What is it? Start with DC. I think this is kind of interesting because of gaming wise. Apparently, there's a one shot. Where'd it go? Batman FaZe Clan issue 1, a one shot, is coming out this week. And then also where did it go? I just saw it. There is a alpha, Shadow War Alpha number 1, which is a one shot, which is basically starting this little Batman, Robin, and Deathstroke story. It's kind of is going to be kind of like a filler until Chip Zdarsky starts his run on Batman later this year. And I thought those were kind of interesting to see, because especially the FaZe Clan thing I didn't notice. And then for Image, no new number 1s, just so we know. Marvel. Hulk Grand Design Monster number 1. Immortal X-Men number 1. Looks like that's about it for number 1s. We keep going just to double check. You don't want to be like that. Scout Comics has a City of Magic number 1 coming out. And then just double checking. Yeah, that's about it. All right. And then thank you for listening. Thank you for obviously keeping up with me and my stupid schedule of just what I do now. And I'm trying to get back into the weekly thing, but also I'm just tired. Also, I guess real quick, sounds dumb. Just want to say my piece. Last night at the Oscars, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock after a very low-hanging fruit joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, and it was kind of dumb. And I want to just more say, I think both sides are wrong. I think both sides in the sense of Chris Rock saying a joke about a condition which I didn't technically, I guess, knew on the top of my mind about Jada's being losing hair from a disease, Alponsia, whatever the fuck it is. I get, it's very, if you knew that coming in, you kind of knew that you're going to get squabble from it. And then I think obviously Will's wrong to just come out and kind of go lash out at somebody like in the heat of the moment. there's a difference between if you wanted to do it later, off camera, or, you know, take them to the side and all that shit. But at the end of the day, just very interesting. And also, I think also a lot of things for me in particular, I think it just sucks seeing a good guy like Will defending a toxic person like Jada has, and Jada, if you like her or not, still has created a toxicity around her and Will's relationship because of August, Red Table Talks, fucking her previous exes, of like just her love of Tupac and all that shit. So I'm just saying the idea of like, there's a lot of baggage there. I think Chris Rock has got some baggage that was not technically for him. And I think also Will lashed out for a lot of reasons. I think for the heat of the moment, and also like I think he just needs to go talk to somebody more than if he is not or is. But yeah, again, hopefully maybe they listen to this show in the sense of hearing like this. What I'm trying to say, like you say every weekend or every week, be good to each other, and I'll catch you next week. Peace.